can the impossible be done today? A three-peat by the son of Testarossa. We're joined by co-trainer Michael Pitman. Great to have you with us, Michael, on what could be an historical day. You've got a two-pronged attack and they're both genuine chances in this year's event. A very good morning to you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Greg. Yeah, it's nice to be here. I don't know when the last time I was here on Telegraph Day. I'm normally at Gore for the Gore Guineas, but yeah, today we're all here, Diane, Matthew and I. So yeah, here because we've got 7 runners today, so we've got a big day out.
Yeah, it's a big day, not only there but at Gore. We'll get to those in a moment, but let's focus first of all on Enzo's lad and the fact that he really hasn't had conditions to suit, particularly here in New Zealand, at all, bar one run at Riccarton where he got a firm track. He's been a big firmer too. I suppose when you have the owners involved in this horse that you do, that doesn't take too much to move him from 41 into what was 21, now 19, but tell me, is there a bit of confidence this year? Are you happy with where he's at? And of course, you got Michael McNabb on once again.
Yeah, I thought his run at Riccarton was very, very good. I thought then we were a chance, you know. I mean, we've been all over the world and he's not getting any younger and getting a bit of mileage on the clock, but his run at Riccarton, and when you calculate into the fact that he's actually only run on a firm track 3 times in the last 18 months, you know. He's going to get a firm track today. This is the old boy here. He's pretty happy, even though he's got his ears laid back. That's just par for the course for him. He's going to get a track to suit today, and it's going to only be the 4th time in 18 months that he's been able to run on a firm track. So that bolsters our confidence a wee bit.
Michael, what about barrier draw-wise? We're just taking in his victory last year again over Ferrando. He was able to get the perfect run, the right run in the race for him to be able to win. As we get a good look at him there. He'll know he's back at Trentham though, and now having won this twice, he's a pretty intelligent guy. I've had a little bit to do with him, so he knows what it's all about, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, he's a competitive racehorse, you know, and he does seem to prefer the Riccarton and Trentham straights. I mean, and horses that have had those practice runs up the chutes, they know what they're doing. I mean, there's going to be possibly 3 front runners in the race today, and hopefully we'll park up just in behind them somewhere. He should get a good run. I mean, he's got a Group 1 winning jockey on board. He knows what he's doing, and he's ready. His work here on Thursday, I actually brought him up a week earlier than we normally do, and I've been up with him for the week, and his work on Thursday was good enough to win the race, I thought.
Right, that's confidence there around him. The flashy bloke, Sensei, awesome in the race last year. His performance at Wingatoo, we'll have a look at in a moment, was well beyond expectations, wasn't it, Michael? Because it was a slow track that day. It definitely wasn't going to suit him, but his run was outstanding. You must have been pleased with the lead towards this race. We're having a good look at it now. The ground he made up, Michael, he shouldn't have been able to do this, but it tells us the horse is in career best form.
Yeah, I mean, his run, you know, his run in the Stewards and his run at Dunedin, they were both outstanding runs on tracks that don't suit him. Everybody knows he's a firm tracker, and yeah, when he won the Pegasus fresh up, he'd only had 1 trial and he'd missed a race, and when he won the Pegasus and broke 31 seconds for 600, well, that put him right up there with the very best, certainly the fastest horses that we've ever seen, you know, and if he can get a firm track, which he'll get today, I know he's drawn out a bit, but it's only a 13-horse field, and yeah, I was pretty wrapped in his last run, and so was Chris. I mean, Chris Johnson put his hand up to come up and ride him today. He'd be here in a flash. I know he would, Chris, but it's just the way it works out that we've got Sam Weatherly on board, and you know, I've got two jockeys riding for me today that have both ridden a Telegraph winner for me. So they know us, they know the horses, and that's a big advantage as well.
All right, we wish you, Matthew and Diane, all the very best in the Group 1 feature. Let's go back to race number 1, though, because there's a bit of interest to hear. You've got a horse, Michael, that's been 2 from 2 on the quick backup it was, as you've become renowned for over the Christmas racing period, and Magnolia Man. And no reason to think that you wouldn't be going to Trentham without giving good consideration to whether he was good enough to win.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could have just as easily gone to the Gore Guineas, but we've already got a good chance in the Gore Guineas and All About Magic, so we decided to bring this fella up here. 1,200 metres is going to be short enough for him, considering his pedigrees by a reliable man out of a half-sister to Royal Descent, who was an AJC Oaks winner, so he's certainly got a pedigree. He's drawn well enough to get a good run in behind him, and he'll be finishing on. I mean, obviously the Te Ake horse is very, very smart, but if we can run second to her, well, it justifies the trip, and we've obviously got bigger plans for later on in the season, and everybody knows that our horses, we try to get them used to travelling as early in the piece as we can, and that's why he's here.
Yep, and he did set bolted in there at Waikawai, so look forward to seeing how he fronts up against Festivity and others in the first. Let's have a look at the team you've got in at Trentham today, highlighted by the two runners, of course, in the Burkitt Telegraph, Enzo's Lad and Sensei. Alonso, Mr. Mocker. Alonso's always had the real good talent, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was, even though dead heated at Riccarton, it was a very good effort to get up and dead heat at Riccarton, and then he was a very unlucky third at his last start. He's got owners who live here in Wellington, and I think it's important sometimes you've got to take, you got to take the mountain to Muhammad sometimes, and that's what we tend to do, you know, and we're here today, but the horse deserves to be here. I think he's a strong each-way chance. I don't know much about the favourite. It hasn't raced for 18 months, but obviously it's been showing plenty. But I think Alonso's as good a chance as any we've got here today.
Okay,
Mr. Mocker,
and Son of Mahir, he'll
shocker.
get track conditions to suit, won't he?
Yeah, but unfortunately, seems par for the course this season for us with Son of Mahir. We either get a good draw on a bad track or a bad draw on a good track. We just haven't had things go our way, but he's been going consistent races. I mean, his race run the other day was as good as any, really, in the anniversary, but he's got a shock and draw again, and he's a horse that's inclined to lose a little bit of interest once he gets out in the open, and he's better off held up with the last crack at them. But I mean, we're going to try and be handy at some stage today and see what sort of run we get from the half mile on.
All right, we go down the island to Gore, where it is Liquorland Gore Guineas Day, and you've got All About Magic taking her place, taking on Miss Federer, who is now the $2.80 favourite, has been quite well backed since the market opened. Burgundy Rose at $4. All About Magic's got a widest draw of 11. She's tens and $3.10. Has Kavish Chowdhury doing the riding, but gee, you've always had a very good opinion of her, haven't you?
Oh, she's a lovely filly, tries really hard, and her fresh up run was really good. She didn't have a trial before Waikawai, and she got beaten by a pretty smart 2-year-old who had a big pull in the weights. And she'll go forward. I mean, gee whiz, I just hate the draws we've got with a few of our runners today. We seem to have drawn wide on every horse we think's half a chance. We seem to have drawn wide, and barrier 11 seems to be the popular number. But we'll go forward, and I hope those other two fillies cut each other up, and we're the ones that are there ready to pounce on them.
Yeah, we're having a look at the performance here at Waikawai. Just on Lovebug, of course, making her way to Karaka. You're heading there with numbers this year.
Just the one horse we're taking. We were going to take two, but unfortunately our showgirl's gone amiss. But Lovebug, she came up with the first group of horses that came up here last week, and she's had a couple of gallops reverse way here at Trentham. They've been very accommodating, so she seems to go all right that way round. They either handle Ellerslie or they don't, and we're heading north thanks to Graham Rogerson and Michelle Northcott. They're taking the horse north for me today. Halfway through the day they're heading north, and I'm going to fly up tomorrow, and we'll be there with boots and all on for Karaka Millions night.
Michael, can we kick things off on a pretty good note at Gore with Exemplar? Is it a good chance in race number 1?
Yeah, massive drop back. I mean, she's been running in Stewards and Pegasuses and open class races. I think she had 3 starts in a row and listed with group races, and she drops back to a suitable race today, back to a 72 with a claim. Kavish Chowdhury's got a good record on her, so hopefully we'll start the day off on a winning note at Gore.
Michael, really appreciate your time. To you, Matthew and Diane, we wish you all the very best today. It's a big day for you. Make sure you enjoy it. Good to see you got the lounge hat on too, mate. Nice to see a new sponsorship deal coming through for you.
Designed this. When I saw this cap, I thought it was quite appropriate because I'm a great couch potato, and I thought lounge. Yeah, that's me. Thanks very much, Greg.
That's right up your alley. All right, thanks so much for your time, Michael.
Yeah,
all the best to you today, and I'm sure the team will race well, even if they do have some difficult draws.